Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, broadcast, please start working. Broadcast, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Leader 13, as we're preparing to get underway here for our next race in XRL's X3 division here, and we're preparing to get underway at the Monaco Without Walls here. Because you're out in front does not give you a guarantee here. There are many things to talk about in this event, and we'll go over them a bit more as we get later on through this race. Only 14 people are looking like they're going to be showing up, so like again, per usual, first round qualifying won't really mean anything. It'll just be go out there, turn a lap or two, then come in and you'll be fine. Just staying by right now, waiting for our last few drivers to join in. Imperium is going to be in the Williams. Okay, so we actually have two Williams cars along with the two Aston Martins and two McLarens and two Ferraris. So that's a respectable representation there. Preparing to get onto the track here. Also, I do want to personally give a nice positive shout out to Extra Zola for letting me briefly plug my own personal Twitch the other day. Insane Layer 13. I do want to say thank you very much. That does mean a lot. I have been doing broadcasts there typically on Saturdays. Every now and again on Sundays later in the day also. So I do want to say thank you to him once again for that. But my number one priority has for the last 2 years and will continue to be XRL's X3 division. 14 drivers. Be curious to see who the first one's going to be to try and get out onto the circuit here. Hungary, very short, quick circuit to complete a lap around. There's really only 2 overtaking zones, and even that is with an asterisk. You have the dive bomb into turn 1, and you have the run down to turn 2. Both of them only possible with DRS. And with that in mind, also, both of them are only possible. Well, the second one's only possible if you're still right on top of someone trying to pull off a crossover, a switchback coming out of turn 1. So there's really only one overtaking opportunity here. Typically on the very first lap of the race, farther back in the grid, you will see 1 or 2 moves in the back of the field in turns 3 and 4, but that's not really an overtaking opportunity. That's just, taking advantage of lap 1 chaos. Collie Boy in the Alfa Romeo is the first driver to get out onto the track today, and he is joined by Herbago, Eggity, Mantic Meerkat, Mercedes AMG, Snake, who has just come out on the track, and Plastic Love. Plastic's been having a small career resurgence thus far this season. As I say that, he invalidates there. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and ride on board with Mantic, not Mantic Meerkat, Herbago, who is second in the championship and trying to fight against Schumacher SS7. We're going to round by with Herbago. They have found something with their setups, and there may be a little bit more information out about that we'll talk about later. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this broadcast as well. But until that time, we'll run silently on board for a lap and see what a flying lap is like here around the Hungary ring in a McLaren powered by Mercedes. And a full lap on board with Herbago sets him with the top with a 117.042. Collie set at 18.4. Plastic at 120.7. Here is XRL Dragon. Dragon, who's not been able to make a whole lot of starts. Typically, his schedule would let him run more on Saturdays. However, with the realistically currently on a shutdown due to lack of interest. Oh, and there's been a spin, and that is Snake. Snake has had a spin and a massive accident. The entire front wing has some significant damage on it, so much so that the wing plates are still on the front wing, but the actual linking parts that keep the front wings to the rest of the car are gone. So he has anti-gravity wing plates that are floating with a tractor beam, I guess, as being projected from the wheel arches. I have no idea what is going on. What kind of newfangled technology is the Mercedes team trying to cheat up now? This is why we call Mercedes the Great Satan. I'm being very overdramatic here. I'm really trying to make a joke about this, but that is that's a mess. That's a mess, to say the least. 7 of our drivers have now set times with a range of nearly 6 seconds overall. Schumacher now out on a lap. Mercedes-AMG was going to use this as a start of a lap, but he invalidated in the final sector, so he will have to go all the way around again and hope that he has enough fuel to make another proper run at it. Dragon did not start a very competitive lap, and now he's very low on fuel, and his ERS is basically out, so he'll be coming in. But again, right now, all these drivers guaranteed a spot in the next round of qualifying at the moment, as long as he can just get out there and set a lap. So this man here, Schumacher, SF7, only one win thus far this season. He is currently sitting on the top of the point standings, over a race ahead of Herbago. But when you're able to close, Dragon's just retired, but when Herbago has been winning almost every single race thus far this season that he's been partaking in, and you couple that with the fact that winning a race gives you roughly a 7-point advantage over second, that more than 25-point advantage does not seem nearly as good as it would. Schumacher needs to up the ante. He needs to start winning races, and he also needs to hope that Herbago starts missing events. It also has not helped that the two of them have a little bit of beef that goes back to over the weekend, and then even prior races. Schumacher trying to match Herbago nail to nail when it comes to what their setups were. Schumacher was running without any traction control. Herbago was running with some slight TCS. This was back at the Red Bull Ring, the race that went caution-free a few weeks back. Schumacher was very vocally displeased because he had been given what he thought was faulty information and felt that driver he was fighting was cheating. Herbago was just as salty because he thought it was ridiculous for someone to take something that seriously because he did not care about trying to match a driver 1-to-1. He was here for a championship. That fight has continued on now. There was an incident between the two in one of the over the middle of the week races where the two of them ended up in contact with each other. Neither of them are really happy with each other at the moment. And I would not be surprised if these two are fighting neck and neck near the front. We see a little bit of physicality between them. I'd hope that doesn't become the case, but I would not be surprised if that happens. Schumacher goes ahead and sets a 118.101, and he's done that on the medium tires, so credit where credit's due. That suggests that there's a lot more speed in that car around here. Also note, Mercedes and Snake are now back in lap. Snake has come back out with a proper front wing now, not one that can work with 90% of it sheared off. And as I say that, he goes around in Sector 2 at the small uphill bit. Zola coming out on an outlap now. Zola has dropped to third in driver's points at this stage in the season. And a man who everyone pretty much thought was a lock for the championship has now slipped farther and farther out of championship contention. Imperium SG in the Williams is also out trying to get a lap in right now. I'll be interested to see what Snake can do, considering he spun and he's not laying on the ERS. So is he going to just hold back and just get this lap in and let that be it? This is Imperium coming now through the latter half of Sector 2. And behind him is the Red Bull of Zola. Zola on the medium tires, as is Flavor. Again, update to this game means that you can now run one set of mediums or one set of hards. Oh, and Imperium goes around! Lap is still legal for the moment. So if he can get back onto track soon, he'll at least have a lap recorded. Snake sets a 35.2. And Imperium back underway. Zola coming to the line, so he now begins his flying lap, and he will also be joined by Egedy, who is crossing the line, trying to improve his own time. Egedy will not improve his time there. Here comes Imperium to the line, 136.893. Again, doesn't matter, it's a time, he's in. Zola very strong early in the season. Back when, he was able to still show up for every single race. He actually led the points early on this year for a brief moment. Now that has fallen away, and the title is slipping away. He's been very open, very honest. He says, look, I don't have the pace that Herbago has. I don't have the pace that Schumacher has. Around the final turn and to the line, Zola will set a 118.803. That's the sixth best time and second best of everyone on the mediums. Here comes Flavor now. This has statistically been one of Flavor's best tracks. We've gone from France the other week, which is one of his worst tracks, to here, which is one of his best tracks. He has finished second twice in his career, once at Russia and once here. Both of them were in realistic rather than the X3 series, but I would argue that's even more impressive. And Flavor saying that he feels that he has, on merit, top 5 pace. I'm interested to see if that turns out to be true today. I believe, is that Imperium who has just had an incident there? Yes, that is Imperium who has had a spin out of 2. Flavor sets the 9th best time, 120.091, again on the medium tires. So everyone with the exception of Higgs Boston has set a time with still 6 minutes and 20 seconds left, and Boston is coming out onto the track now. So everyone could probably go ahead and retire in the pits, and we really could. I would like it, at least, if we got a early get on to Q2. Boston lights up the tires and nearly spins, coming right out of turn 1. Following the Aston Martin driver here. Zola has retired from the session as his Plastic Love, Dragon, Collie Boy, Schumacher, Meerkat, and Herbago. They all say, hey, look, we've set times. No need to damage the equipment. They've already come back into the pits. And I would not be surprised if we see more drivers doing the same. Right now, only 3 cars on track, and Flavor is coming back into pit lane. Mercedes, AMG, and Higgs Boston, the only 2 on the circuit at the moment. Mercedes is trying to improve, but he's down by 6 thousandths right now. We'll ride on board with Higgs Boston for a lap, see what he can pull out on this circuit here. It'll be relatively clean ahead outside for Snake. Actually, I think Snake is far enough ahead that he's not going to harm Boston's run here. So they dive into the hairpin. Bit of an uphill here coming from the end of sector 1. It flattens out, and then as you round this sweeping right-hander, it all starts going uphill again. This entire section is blind. We've seen some stack-ups there. You go through here, the chicane here in sector 2. Honestly, we should really get rid of that chicane in sector 2. It's the most useless thing because these cars go slow here already. Track relatively flattens out throughout this section. Small downhill run entering sector 3. But most of the height and most of the elevation changes happen in between on the run to turn 1 and then between turns 1 and 3, honestly. That section is pretty much built on a hill. Once upon a time, back in the 90s and early 2000s, this track, the front straightaway, was way significantly shorter. Almost at the end of pit lane is when they would come out, and then you would sweep around immediately back into turn 1 instead of this huge hairpin at the end of the straight. It was much shorter. The laps were a lot quicker, but there also was simply no overtaking opportunities, even in the ideal 1990s and 2000s cars, which were way slower and lighter, nimbler. It was simply not possible to overtake. This track is one of the few tracks I believe has been taken off of death's row and been brought into life support thanks to the addition of DRS. Boston sets a 118.834. His teammate Mercedes AMG is coming to the pit now. Snake trying to improve. He has only been able to set a 135 as spins have compromised every one of his laps thus far. He's up by 15.6 seconds. Completely out of ERS though. Only 2 cars on track. Snake along with Higgs Boston. And Snake is staying out for another go at it, despite having no ERS. So this won't be a competitive time, but it is a significantly improved time, 119.308. Higgs going to stay out for another lap as well, so it looks like Higgs and Snake both want to try and improve on their lap times. Mercedes AMG retires into the pit, so it's only these 2 drivers on track right now. So of note, Schumacher, Zola, and Flavor all set their times on medium tires, so they have more softs they can use, and Boston has invalidated this lap, so the focus now goes to Snake. But those 3 drivers will have more sets of soft tires they can utilize in Q2 and Q3. I just can't help but be in awe at the massive spread in times from top to bottom. Nearly 6 seconds between Herbago and Dragon. Herbago all by himself, 17.0 flat. And even his teammate Meerkat is nearly a full second off. And then Dragon, who is 14th, 22.9. But again, in Dragon's case, he has not been able to attend an XRL race for a long period of time. So both Boston and Snake bring it into the pit lane. And with this in mind, we will be advancing to the next round of qualifying shortly here. Our broadcast is running a little bit behind schedule. Hopefully this earlier into Q1 will help catch us up a little bit. Yep, there we are. So yeah, this should this should catch us up on the timesheets a little bit. Excuse me. Here is your results. So it looks like it will be another case of Schumacher taking on the McLarens himself at the front of the grid. Schumacher holding back a lot of potential pace, obviously, on those medium tires. All right. So now we prepare to get underway for our second round of qualifying here. This is where things get interesting. 14 drivers fighting for 10 spots. So first driver out on track. And this has been a massive run to get onto the circuit. But the first one out today is going for this round is going to be XRL Dave. So the Alfa Romeo is trying to clear onto the circuit as quickly as possible. And they are already out onto the track. The McLaren's also out there, Meerkat and Herbago. Is there rain or something on the schedule? Because 11 of our 14 drivers all rushed out onto the track as quickly as possible. Now I say 12 of our 14 drivers. The only ones who do not seem to be in a rush to get onto the track is Extra Zola and Imperium SG. Oh, and Dave spins, and that's going to be right in front of the McLarens. Won't be too much of an issue, though. Oh, but there's someone else. That's Dragon who has gone around now. And Dragon has hit Collie Boy, apparently. Oh, wow, this is just going from bad to worse. The first driver who's going to cross the line here will be Herbago, so he'll have a clean track. I don't know why everyone's rushing to get onto the circuit so much. It's going to be absolutely chaotic. And frankly, for this man here, Herbago, there's a risk that he might catch lap traffic as well. DRS pops open for the McLaren down the second shorter DRS zone. So yeah, everyone with the exception of Imperium is out on track now, although Dragon has brought the car back into the pits to start repairs on it. 27.5 for the McLaren. Through that second sector chicane. I can't even say backstretch chicane because there is no backstretch here. Clouds are getting a little bit thicker, but I don't think it's anywhere close to saying that there's going to be rain. I don't know why everyone was so bloody eager to get onto the track. But I think Herbago is going to be right on the top of the sheets once again this time by. Around the corner, here comes Herbago down the line. 116.9, so Herbago goes even faster now. I see Plastic Love as he crosses the line here shortly, but now Dave sets at 18.477. Now we see Meerkat, he's going to set a 17.813. So Meerkat's a little bit closer to Herbago on the sheets now. Collyboy 118, Dave 118, Boston 118.2, Schumacher 129. He did on the mediums, and I think he backed out that lap. Plastic Love 120.233. Eggedy 19.1. Here comes Snake to the line in the Mercedes. He'll go 118.902. I don't see rain falling on the track right now. But is Schumacher going to be able to get another proper flying lap in? Because now the track is most definitely getting darker. The tires will definitely be dialed in, but he's got a lot of traffic ahead. Zola still has yet to cross the line to get his lap in, but 11 of our 14 drivers have set times. Plastic Love is on the bubble. Schumacher is on the outside looking in, possibly trying to push that medium tire advantage a bit too far right now. And he invalidates. Oh, and this could get very bad because if rain is on the way, Schumacher, your championship leader, might find himself locked out of the top 10. Dragon still in the middle of an outlap, trying to get a lap in here. If he does get a lap, this will only further hamper Schumacher's attempts. Aston Martin around back there in Sector 2. He's gotten back underway. Dragon coming across the line to begin a lap now. Imperium still in the pits. Schumacher comes across. He was set a 120.3. That would not have been enough to get him ahead of Plastic. I don't know if with the medium tires, if that Ferrari has the time to get in. Right now, Plastic is on the outside looking in. Flavor is on the bubble, so Schumacher might knock out his teammate here to get in. And Dragon is still a wild card this as well. And is that Dragon? That is Dragon with his head in accident coming out of turn 2. The front wing completely gone. So it looks like Dragon and Imperium may be struggling here. And Schumacher, your championship points leader, is struggling the most of them all. He's up by 2.5 seconds. Can he beat 119.366? That is the time he needs, and then ideally he should be able to go even faster, hopefully, because otherwise he's going to get locked out if Dragon or Imperium get a proper flying lap in. 118.162, and Schumacher, it took him 3 laps to do it, but he's in to the top 4 with a 118.162 on the medium tires as Mantic Meerkat is now coming back out to the circuit. I have no idea what's going on there. Mercedes-AMG in the middle of the lap right now, but I believe he's on a cooldown at the moment, considering how he has basically no ERS in that car. No, he's going for it still. Okay. I don't think he's going to be any faster, but he is still coming, and Imperium is finally coming out onto the circuit. Now we're seeing drivers kind of sprinkle the way back onto the track. I don't know what caused everyone to run out onto the track in such a frenzy, but very early on in Q2, we now have a borderline. Eggedy with a 119.180 is on the outside looking in. Dragon and Imperium have yet to set their laps. Flavor and Plastic Glove are on the outside looking in. Imperium is on an outlap right now, and when he gets to the line, it looks like it's going to be a moderately clean track ahead. Around the final corner comes Imperium, and he'll begin his flying lap now. Plastic Love, his teammate, farther up the track, also in the middle of a lap. Both of the Alfa Romeos very close on time. Only about a quarter of a second separates Dave from Collyboy, and they're both out on track trying to improve on their own times as well. 28.688 at the end of Sector 1. Right now, neither Williams is in the top 10. Big twitch as he runs over the curbs there. My goodness, that was messy. Snake retires in the pits with a 118.9, so he says, hey, I'm not going to even try going faster. And Meerkat has had a spin there in Sector 2, and he's not the only one. In Alfa Romeo, that is Collie Boy, has had a spin as well. That one's way down the line. I don't know how you spin that far down. I mean, granted, it is right out of the corner, so it shouldn't be that surprising, but that is a lot farther down than what we normally see. Imperium, though, coming across the line. The time he will set will be a 1:21.946, the slowest of everyone thus far. So for now, Eggity now jumps up to 7, so now Snake with that 118.9 is on the bubble. Dragon on another lap. He needs to just get 8. He should try to get a lap in, but it needs to be a competitive lap. Schumacher is coming back out onto the circuit, oddly enough. What in the devil? Well, they put on soft tires as well. I don't know what they're doing here, because he's already in on the mediums. You might as well just stick with that and stay on the softs to have more sets of fresh softs available. Dragon's invalidated this lap, so he will he's continuing to not have an impact on qualifying right now. Flavor still in the pits. Plastic Love, can he improve at all? He's up, but only by 23 thousandths right now. And that will even bring him into the ballpark of Flavor, let alone Snake, who he needs to beat to get into the top 10. Now the final corner, and here comes Love to the line. He will set a 1:19.960, so that gets him into the 19s. But he's still 0.6 out from Flavor, and that would only be for 11th. He's not even close to being 10th yet. He's still more than a second out from getting into the top 10. So qualifying might have already been decided. Dragon set a 1:20.2 that lap, and needs to go for another one here. Dragon's the last potential wild card in this qualifying setup. He has not been able to set a proper lap thus far, and he goes around and spins hard into that wall. Backed it in, so thankfully due to the damage setting that XRL runs, he won't take any real damage to the car. And here comes the Ferrari. That was Schumacher, who was trying to improve his own time. Dragon now kind of setting on the track, waiting for Zola to go by. Now here comes Mantic Meerkat. And Dragon finally gets back underway, but it looks like Dragon just does not have the confidence in the car in order to put down a proper push lap here. Schumacher now goes into the 17s with a 17.0 on the softs. Mercedes-AMG has had an accident, and Collie Boy has had an accident as well. But yet both of these drivers look like they're going to be in because Flavor's not come back onto the track. Plastic and Imperium don't have any pace, and Dragon has not been able to set a single proper lap this entire session. So does Flavor come back out? Yes, he does. Flavor is going to try and make a run against XRL Snake. He needs to find about 6.5 tenths. I'm sorry, I'm totally wrong there. He needs to find about 46 hundredths in order to get in. Actually, technically a bit more than 46 hundredths, but basically if Flavor can improve by an entire half lap, he will do it. The sky is relatively dark and ominous still, but there's no rain yet. Imperium on another outlap as well, but Imperium has not even gotten into the 120s thus far. Plastic Love also coming out into the track. Love may have an outside shot at getting past Snake as well, but he needs to find a full second if he wants to do so. Imperium really, really sideways there, just trying to warm those tires up. Zola now crosses the line on the softs, 117.374. So Meerkat has now dropped to 4th on the timesheets. Call Boy, Mercedes, and Snake all have retired in the pits right now, so they all feel that there's no chance that Love, Plastic, or Plastic Love, Imperium, or Flavor will be able to improve on their time enough to squeeze them out. Flavor trying to prove them wrong in this final minute of the session. He's up by not quite 2/10. If he can find 2/10 in each sector, he'd be good. He's up, but he's not gained as much. He still needs to find about another 1,500ths. This is going to be his only attempt. The time's going to be up before Flavor gets to the line. Will it be enough? He needs to be in the low. He's in the 118s. He's in. Flavor is in, and Snake is out. Plastic Love in the middle of a lap, but he isn't validated. Dragon also in the middle of a lap, trying to set a time at the last possible moment here. Oh, and he's around and hard into the wall! Massive accident, and that will take Dragon out of it! Dragon will not set a time! So it's over. As Plastic is invalidated, so he can't go any faster, and Flavor gets in at the last moment, pulling out nearly 4/10 of a second in the final 3 corners alone. An incredible job. So both of the Ferrari drivers put into a rough scenario, and they advance forward. And Dragon, sadly, has now been disqualified from this round. He will be starting dead last in the race. But at the top, it is still Herbago, well ahead of the rest of the field at the moment by 101 thousandths. All right, hold up just a second, Dragon. Wait just a second. Wait just a second. All right, now you should have an option to include audio. All right, are you able to include audio, Dragon?
Got it, I'm in.
All right, XL Dragon, welcome to the broadcasting booth. Multiple accidents time and time again here in Q2, ending with that massive accident that the game disqualified you after. What was wrong with the car?
I just, for whatever reason, it's not the car. I just can't get out of my head today.
All right, well, you're going to be starting 14th in a field of 14 drivers today. Do you think you have an ability to make it into the points-paying positions?
Not a snowball's chance in hell.
All right, well, then I do have a slightly different question.
I'm just being honest with you.
I appreciate the honesty. I will never fault you for that. That's one of the reasons I absolutely love talking with you. I just wish we talked more at the end of races rather than at the start or in the middle of them.
Indeed.
There's one more question. Actually, 2 more questions I want to ask you, Dragon. One, how is the leg? Now that you've gotten a new one on, how's it feeling at this point?
Doing very well. Still going to rehab, but things are going very well so far, and just hoping for more of the same.
All right, now one more back relating to the race itself. almost the entire field all rushed out into the track at the exact same point there, but we never saw rain in Q2. What encouraged everyone to get onto the track at the same point right at the start of qualifying? That's not something we see very often unless there's a threat of rain.
I'm going on the assumption that everyone was trying to get out and get laps in before the rain came, because as you well know, once the rain comes, times go up dramatically, and with the times Herbago was posting in Q1, it absolutely did not surprise me to see a rush to get to track in an effort to try to get times, hopefully beat Herbago out to track, get in under the rain. Just a lot of factors, but that would be my guess at this point.
All right, well, the rain has now started falling on track here in the final round of qualifying, and everyone is going out on softs tires right now. So this is going to be really interesting. We'll go ahead, and if you want to stay with me for the rest of Q3, I'm perfectly fine. But if you want to step aside and start focusing on the race itself, that's fine as well. I do want to say, though, thank you for jumping in and being honest with us. That's something we always have appreciated here.
Yeah, I need to take a couple minutes try to get myself focused and get into the right frame of mind for this race. Otherwise, it is going to be absolute carnage.
All right, thank you once again. And as we turn our focus to the track, it looks like we may see some absolute carnage here as well. Your championship leaders, Schumacher and Herbago, are number 1 and number 2 drivers on the track right now. Herbago ahead of Schumacher, both of them trying to rush a lap in before the track is completely lost because rain is falling. The asphalt looks damp. They're only going to have 2 DRS zones. Once those DRS zones are in, though, they'll be in good position to be able to pound out the rest of this lap potentially. Everyone is on softs at the moment, actually. So everyone on track on softs trying to get a lap in before DRS is shut down. Because once DRS is shut, the lap times will become invalid. Well, not invalid, but irrelevant. You lose so much time not having DRS, and Zola has had a spin already in the middle of his outlap. Needs to get moving fast. Okay, so our first 4, it looks like our first 5 drivers will all get out of the DRS zones and be able to use DRS fully here. We're right on board with Schumacher, looking ahead to Herbago. Herbago, 118.842. Schumacher, 118.893. Herbago is still on top. That might be it. That might decide the race. Collie-Boy, 120.011. Here comes his teammate Dave across the line. He's going to set a 121.501. Mantic Meerkat unable to get a lap, so this is not looking good for the number 2 Mercedes driver. Higgs Boston will try and be the 5th driver to cross the line. The track is still wetting up, but it is not soaked yet. Boston, 120.438. DRS still enabled. Flavor, 122.480, so it's not looking great for the number 2 Ferrari driver either. Here comes Mercedes now. Mercedes-AMG coming up to the line. He still has a lot of ERS, so he might try and go for another lap. But the question is going to be, how much longer will the DRS zones stay open? Schumacher invalidates, so he's not going to be able to go faster his following lap. And Herbago's already pulled back. Agnew, 144.769. Meerkat needs to try and pound a good lap out here, but he's low on fuel and almost out of DRS, and DRS is disabled! That's it! The times that you see in the top 6, that's what it's going to be! And Herbago will steal another point, and again, continue to close the gap on Schumacher here. And that is going to be agonizing for the Ferrari team. Meerkat crosses the line with a 20.166. So Meerkat is going to be on row 2. For Mercedes and Agony, they do have an outside chance to potentially get a proper lap in. And for Zola, who is third in the championship, this will destroy any shot of him having a good start. Mercedes is up by 12 seconds. That would be enough to put him ahead of Flavor, potentially, if he can keep it together. So everywhere from 7th on down is still up to play right now between Flavor, Mercedes, Agony, and Zola. To the line, Mercedes, 121.699, so he'll push Flavor down now to 8th. Here comes Agony. He's up by time. He's only able to set 23.5. Zola's bringing his car into the pits. Yeah, it seems like this is it. We don't know if Zola is going to come out to try and go for another flyer or not. But it looks like Q3 is, for all intents and purposes, over. But Herbago continuing to try and take hold of the championship fight on sheer pace. On pole once again. And here at Hungary, a track where overtaking is borderline impossible at, this may lock him up for a maximum points day as well. Yeah, it's all going to come down to, will Zola come back out on track to try and get a lap in on the intermediates? He's not going to gain any time if he does so. Oh, and this is interesting. Zola is coming out on track. He's going to try to get a lap in. There is no DRS, so it's not going to be a competitive time, but look at this. He is doing it on a wet, soaked track on soft tires. So we're just going to ride silently on board. This is going to be just as nerve-wracking as the fight between the Ferrari and the McLaren to go for pole. This one is hand Zola, keep the car alive for an out lap, a flyer lap, and an in lap before this session is over. Nail-biting scenes at Hungary as Zola is trying to squeeze a lap in a fully soaked track on dry tires. And thus far, he's been keeping it clean. Coming out of Sector 2. Just a few more corners to go. And across the line, 124.220, so he's not that far off of Eggany's time. Incredible job. Zola gets a lap in. Now, it's not going to really change anything. He's still only going to start 10th. But that speaks wonders to his skill and ability as a driver. If only he didn't crash on his outlap, he could have maybe fought for the pole against Schumacher and Herbago. It's not a cooldown lap now as the time is over in this session. Incredible bloody job here. You can tell this is a cooldown lap right now. He's not laying on the ERS at all. But wow. This has been, all 3 rounds of qualifying, very interesting. And Zola comes across the line. And that will bring us to an end here for our 3rd and final round of qualifying. Incredible scenes here. And at the front, Herbago takes pole by just 51 thousandths, or roughly 500ths of a second, over the Ferrari of Schumacher. And I think Schumacher possibly could have got it, but he sent the car in a little bit too hard in the final corner on his lone flyer lap in the final round of qualifying. So Herbago is going to close the gap by another point, and with Russ Rain at Hungary, a track where historically you cannot pass at, this could end up going fantastically well. All right, so real quickly, in the 5-minute wait until we get the race itself underway, we're going to go ahead and take a look at, the points as they are right now. Oh, never mind. Apparently we're getting word that they're going to be doing a full lobby restart. So until I get an invite, hopefully I'll get an invite relatively soon here. But real quickly, we'll run us down in the championship standings as they are right now. In the Manufacturers Championship, 1 second. Hello, I was invited into this party. All right. All right, who should I join off of? Oh, here we are. Joining session. It looks like it's already going. All right. Thank you, boys. I will pop out of this party. All right, I do apologize for that bit of a hiccup. We will be down one driver, so it will only be 13 drivers taking the green flag in today's race. All right, so as I was saying, we'll look at the point standings as they are right now. In the Manufacturers Championship, Williams is 10th with 46 points. Ninth is AlphaTauri with 51 points. 8th is Mercedes with 64. 7th is Aston Martin with 81. 6th is Alpine with 83. 5th is Haas with 90. 4th is Alfa Romeo with 91. 3rd is Red Bull with 147. 2nd is Ferrari with 241. And McLaren now has the lead in the Manufacturers Championship with 245 points. So a 4-point swing, but with both McLaren drivers showing up, and the fact that Meerkat has been outpacing Flavor for most of the season, the number 2 driver may end up being the one that decides it all, and that looks like it will just continue to open up McLaren's gap in the Manufacturers Championship. In the Drivers' Championship, 17th is Imperium SG. He has 4 points. 16th is XRO Boothie with 10. There is a three-way tie for 13th between XRO Snake, Mercedes AMG, and Gulminator 2361. They all have 20 points each. 12th is Fratters, he has 24 points. 11th is Plastic Love with 26. 10th is Higgs Boston with 32. 9th is Eggity with 33. 8th is XRL Dave with 39 points. 7th is AK Herbie with 43. 6th is Cully Boy with 52 points. 5th is XRL Flavor, he now has 61 points. 4th is Mantic Meerkat with 96 points. Now it's a big jump until you get to your championship contenders. 3rd is XRL Zola, he has 139 points. 2nd is Herbago 91 with 149. Leading is Schumacher SF7, he has 108 points. So it is a 31-point swing at the top of the points chart right now between Schumacher and Herbago. This could get mad. Supposedly the race itself is supposed to be all dry, start to end, so still waiting on Higgs Boston to get back into the lobby here. There we are. There's Higgs Boston. So once Dave properly picks up a car, we will be getting underway for this race itself. Smaller field, only 13 drivers now. Right now, we're just waiting to get underway for the race itself, and then it will be a 5 minute wait until we start up. So, yeah, this broadcast ran very behind schedule, and I do apologize for that. All right. Also, with this lobby reset, this also means that everyone who was running medium tires in the first round of qualifying now has fresh mediums, and everyone who which is literally everyone who is on the softs now has fresh softs as well. So tires no longer an so tire no tires are no longer an issue in today's race. Medium to hard or hard to medium has been the strategy to go to this season, and we are anticipating to see more of that today. There we are. A few unique ones. Dave in 6 is starting on the softs apparently, and Eggity in ninth is starting on the hard tires. Everyone else is on the mediums at the moment. There may be some last minute changes, but I wouldn't put too much stock in that around here. It's a very straightforward event. Eggity trying to bet that there will be either a yellow so early on, yellow perfectly timed that everyone who is on mediums will go ahead and have to pit and jump onto hards, and he can do the exact same thing, go hard to mediums, and then be on faster tires to the end of the race. Dave might try a two-stopper, soft, medium, or may try, it would be a very hard strategy, but he may try a soft to hard run today. All right, so Schumacher may be starting on the hards instead. Be an interesting strategy. Meerkat starting on the softs, so they will try and probably get that McLaren ahead of the Ferrari if any chance to try and back him up and give Herbago as much of a advantage as possible. Dragon now deciding to start on the softs. Just kind of an extended wait period right now. I've already burned through all the talking points, and we've lost a driver. We're really just waiting to get underway, and it's taking way longer than it should. This may become problematic. Because I'm being given no information as to what the plan is right now, and we are running more than 10 minutes behind schedule at the moment. All right, yeah. I can't. There's nothing I can really go through here. I'm guessing everyone's leaving the lobby or something? Are we starting a new lobby again? Because we're getting dangerously close to the point where I may not be able to get underway with this. Are we going to finally get going here? All right. Cool. So they're doing a lobby restart, but they've not given me any heads up or indication. I don't. All right, now we're down to only 11 drivers. Incredible. Finally, we got at least 13 people back. All right, we're going to get underway nice and quickly here. That's great to see, honestly. Might be able to be here for the entire broadcast. It's going to be iffy. Hopefully it's a very clean race. If this race is slowed by a lot of yellows, there's a high likelihood I will not be able to be here to cover the race to its proper end. So this is what it looks like. Everyone on the front, in the front three positions starting on medium tires. Meerkat and Higgs Boston, 4th and 5th, starting on the softs. Farther down, Agony is going to be starting on the hards, and Dragon, dead last, will also be starting on the soft tires. Zerbago looking to try and significantly close the points gap on Schumacher. Schumacher needs to figure out some way to get ahead of the McLaren here in today's race. But at a track where overtaking is borderline impossible, and at a circuit to where the top 3 drivers are all on the same strategy, this looks wildly unlikely. For the Manufacturers' Championship, Meerkat is starting 4th and Flavor is starting 8th. Historically, this is one of Flavor's best tracks. Oh, and Herbago spins on the warm-up lap. Well, that's a way to heat up the tires. But yeah, Flavor, can he find a way by Meerkat? Of note, Meerkat is on a different strategy. He'll start on the soft tires. He's either going to try a very unlikely soft to hard strat or a 2-stop strategy. So we're going to ride on board with Mantic Meerkat on the initial race start here and see what it looks like from his perspective. He's starting 4th. Herbago, Schumacher, your championship top 2, starting on the front row. You see the lights. 4 lights, 5 lights. As lights out, away we go here and out the gate. Look at that. Schumacher had a horrible start, falls through the grid, and it's now a McLaren 1-2. It's a McLaren 1-2. Meerkat is not going to fight with Herbago, and Schumacher has fallen all the way back to 4th. Dave is falling down through the order. Flavor is falling down. Higgs Boston is going to hold out in 5th, trying to get by Schumacher. Can't make it work. But Schumacher had a horrendously bad start there. And this is going to make his championship hopes even worse. Farther back in the grid. Oh, and that's Imperium who's around and into the wall farther back. Agony falls behind Dragon. And Flavor has fallen all the way back to 9th. Yellow flags, full course yellow. Not a safety car, just VSC at the moment. Collie Boy had the tremendous start, maintaining 3rd position, getting around Schumacher and letting Meerkat get by without issue. Meerkat is now 2nd, and he has the ability to back up the entire field as much as he wants. He is not on the same strategy as Herbago, so they do not have to worry about double stacking in the McLaren camp. And we are back underway here. Dave trying to see if he can do anything to Higgs Boston for the 5th position. But again, you can't really overtake here. Now that the entire field's gone, single file strategy and pace is going to be what dictates this race at this stage. Oh, wait, something happened to Herbago. Yes, Herbago has let Mantic Meerkat go ahead. So Herbago is pulling the side lane, Meerkat go ahead, so Meerkat can use the soft tires to his fullest advantage and try to stretch out enough of the gap so he will be ahead of the Ferraris when he does finally make his stop. So Meerkat already opening up an 8/10 gap on Herbago. How much does Herbago try to back up Collie Boy and Schumacher behind? Higgs Boston is in 5th on the soft tires, leading another train of cars behind. He's got Plastic Love behind him, who had a great start. Dave is 7th. Zola has recovered to 8th after starting in the 10th position. Flavor, horrible start. He's fallen to 9th. And Dragon has moved up into the 10th position in the points paying spots. Big slide there from Dave, and here comes Zola trying to make a side-by-side overtake on him, makes a bit of contact, the Red Bull goes way off circuit, and there goes Dragon and Flavor by. So Zola now falls to 10th. He's going to try and go around the outside of the Alpine to get back into the 9th position. And something has gone wrong with Higgs, because although he has soft tires, he has lost the position to plastic glove now. And Schumacher on the medium tires has just set the fastest lap of the race, despite the fact that he's in traffic. He is on the inside of Collie Boy trying to make the overtake, and he's by. And at a track he can't normally overtake at, Schumacher is on the recovery drive as he now sets his sights on Herbago, his title rival, ahead. Zola gets back by Flavor, so Zola, Flavor fighting for 8th and 9th position. For the moment, the Ferrari has the advantage. Zola trying to cross over, but the big thing for Zola is that there's Dragon behind him, ready to capitalize, and Collie Boy has crashed out! Collie Boy has crashed out on the circuit, and that is a full course yellow! A full course yellow here early on in the event, and Collie Boy drops out early. And his fantastic start goes to waste here at Hungary. This will help the Williams of Imperium, though. He will be able to catch up to the back of the grid, and this will counter the wing damage he took early on. For Plastic Love, this will be great for him as well, because he now gets to close right back up to the leaders. And for the McLarens, this can really have some massive effects, and Boston is going to come into the pits. He wants off the soft tires. He's not the only one. Zola is pitting. Dragon is pitting as well. So some weird, strange strategies going on here. I wonder if Zola had taken wing damage or something. Oh, wow, that's a motion blur. No wing damage, but they're throwing on hard tires on Zola's car. Agony now on this tire strategy where he started on the hards, although he's last of everyone who has not made a stop yet. He is now up into 8th at least, and may be able to back up the cars behind him quite a bit. The big thing is going to be for Meerkat. Again, everyone started on fresh softs, so Meerkat's tires aren't in horrible condition. Meerkat might still be able to try and run away as much as he can, but the advantage that he had that when Herbago moved aside to let him by for the lead, that is going to become a much smaller and stricter advantage here. We're not likely to go green until about lap 6 here. So McLaren 1-2 on alternate strategies as Meerkat had a tremendous launch off the start, moved all the way up into 2nd, then Herbago, the following lap, moved aside to let Meerkat go, but a yellow flag has backed the field up once again. We're waiting on Imperium to catch up to the back of the grid. He is currently 20.8 seconds out. And considering that most of this circuit is corners, it's going to take a long time for him to close that gap down. I'm just looking real quickly at everyone's fuel numbers and seeing if everyone should be able to make it to the end with this yellow. And it's looking like that will be the case. So yeah, everyone will be able to make it to the end on field now. Imperium finally closes into the back of the grid. So we'll be going green on lap 6 after an accident by Collie Boy takes him out early here, crashing out of the top 4 positions. And Plastic Love on another surprise drive. He is now up into the 4th position after starting all the way down in 11th. I'm really curious as to what Zola's strat is going to be, because he is now on hard tires. Oh, and Imperium, has he just crashed? Yeah, Imperium has crashed into the safety car. No damage, but this is not looking good for him. Safety car in this lap. He's going to have to rush to catch up to the rear of the field. Mantic Meerkat on the soft tires. He technically controls the pace, but it's really going to come down to Herbago. How much does Herbago back up the field to let Meerkat get away? And how much does Herbago back up Schumacher to try and make Schumacher have to deal with the fight from Plastic Love behind? Again, you can't normally overtake here, but Schumacher has shown some ability. He was able to overtake Collie Boy on merit before he went green. Oh, wow, Plastic! Wow, Plastic was ready to go, and now Meerkat gets underway. Second and third, right on top of each other. Plastic Love is behind. Watch as they go at it. Going into turn 1. Herbago runs Schumacher wide. Here comes Plastic Love up the inside of the Ferrari. Can't put the power down fast enough. Bossing is a time penalty farther back. Very close near the front. Dave is there as well, seeing as Herbago is backing up the field right now. I think Herbago is trying his best to try and compromise Schumacher at the moment. Schumacher, you know that you can't overtake here in the twisties. And Plastic is hounding these two cars ahead. And meanwhile, Meerkat's already scooting away a 1.1 second advantage. Again, he's already used some of his soft tires, but not completely. Schumacher now falling back just a little bit. And Dave has had an incident, and he has spun all the way down to last position. Plastic in 4th is now losing touch with Herbago and Schumacher. He seems to be running by himself, and Flavor is now up in the 5th spot. Dave, another spin back there at the end of Sector 2. So the Alfa Romeos, despite having to respect a very, very strong qualifying run, have absolutely imploded on themselves now before we even get a full 5th of the way through this race. Schumacher continues to pressure Herbago. As we look at telemetry real quickly, Schumacher's at 58% ERS, Herbago 73% ERS, so Herbago has a significant ERS advantage they can use to stay ahead of Schumacher at the moment. Meerkat at the front is at 68%. I'm surprised Meerkat's not burning the ERS down and trying to make full advantage of the clean air while he's got it. Boston, another 3-second time penalty back there in 7th. It's not looking good for him. Herbago now at 79% ERS, 81% ERS, so he is charging it up and going to use that as a defense because Schumacher is close enough to have DRS when they get to the main straightaway. And Mercedes has crashed! And Mercedes has now had an accident. And he is out, and that is another full course yellow very early in the race. And we didn't even get to the point where we could start even using DRS. And Mercedes is out, and we are now down to just 11 drivers. And Meerkat is going to go ahead and pit. This will cycle him to the back of the grid nearly, though. So we've gotten almost no actual green flag running here. And it is now Herbago who is back in the lead. And he is going to have Schumacher SF7 right behind him. And for Dave, this is great news because he will be able to close back in to the rear of the field. Although it's going to take a while because he's going to be in the pits. But Herbago now leads and Meerkat is now 10th, last of the points paying positions. He will be on fresher tires, but he's going to have to deal with a lot of arrow wake, and actually overtaking is going to be extremely difficult. Dave throwing on the hards, and he'll likely try and nurse those hards to the end of this race. To Zola's credit, he did get by Diggity, so Zola is starting to, after that really, really bad strategy run in qualifying, he has now worked his way back up into 6th, still well out of the championship fighters, but he is recovering right now. Also, in the overall way of this race goes, Flavor is now 4th, but again, Flavor will have to pit again. Meerkat will also have to pit again, because frankly, there's no way that McLaren keeps those medium tires good to the end of the race. So at the moment, Flavor is ahead of Meerkat overall, and that will benefit the Ferrari team in the Manufacturers' Championship. Everyone, with the exception of Dave, has caught up to the back of the grid. Dave, nearly 30 seconds out. We're not likely to go green until lap 10. We've had more laps under safety car than we have had under green flag racing thus far in this race. So, this broadcast, I hate to say it, may not go to the end. It will be close. I will do whatever I can and try to push off my personal commitments, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this broadcast to the end. All right, so Imperium still hasn't caught the back of the grid. He's 5 seconds out. And he has already damaged the wing as well while trying to catch the rear of the field. So he is not going to be a factor in this after his accident. Dave has caught the rear of the field. Meerkat now up into 9th. So this race has been a cavalcade of errors. Imperium will likely pit coming to the green flag, so it's going to be 10 cars fighting for 10 points paying positions. Herbago versus Schumacher at the front, with Plastic Glove in 3rd, ready to capitalize, and Flavor, who is in 4th. Love versus Flavor, that was a fight at Montreal, and they both had a great run there. We may see another interesting fight for 2nd here. And Higgs Boston, who is in 5th, although he has a bunch of time penalties, he is on slightly fresher tires. That could go well for him. How does Schumacher fight against Herbago on this restart? Herbago trying to back Schumacher up, cuts him off at the corner exit, as you're allowed to do. Green flag is underway. He's ahead by about 1/5 of a second as they come down to the end of the straight. No chance to make a move by anyone until you get back there. Meerkat overtakes Dragon immediately. Now he goes to the inside of Egan. He is going to try and take 2 overtaking, 3 overtaking. Higgs Boston spins as well. Meerkat's already back up in the 6th. And now Meerkat needs to get by Zola, one of his other teammates' championship rivals, as Zola is trying to get by Flavor as well for 4th. The top 3 have broken away from the field once again. Oh, Zola, big spin, and he's around and into the wall, and Meerkat is now up in the 5th. So that extra stop is now is not going to matter, because Meerkat and Flavor in the fight for the Manufacturers Championship are now even with each other. At the front, Plastic Glove continues to watch the top 2 as they're starting to drift away from him a bit. Schumacher not that close to Herbago this time by. Schumacher laying on the ERS, Herbago doing the same. They're even on ERS at the moment as they now come through the final corners onto the front straightaway. No DRS yet. Fighting farther back, look at Dave as he is right here behind Agony, who is right here behind Dragon. 6th, 7th, 8th, all on top of each other, and Higgs Boston is already recovering from his incident. He's closing in on this fight, and here comes Dragon into the pit. Dragon has to repair damage, so Dave is going to fight Agony on his own. Dave has a better run out of the corner than Agony as they come down the straight. Dave laying on the ERS, Agony doing the same, but Dave And now Higgs Boston, who is on medium tires with less wear than Eggity, who started on the hards, he is right there. He is pressuring them. Right behind the AlphaTauri, laying on the ERS. Can't normally overtake here, but he doesn't seem to care. He's going for it anyway. Dragon now falls to 10th, and Zola now falls to 11th. So third in the championship, out of the points-paying positions, and Dragon has just had another accident coming out of the pit lane. So this might put Zola back up. Flavor now has a time penalty, and that will work well in Meerkat's favor. At the front, Schumacher, 64% ERS. Herbago is at 38. Herbago is laying hard on the ERS, trying to get himself out of DRS range from Schumacher. It looks like now that the cavalcade of errors have ended, Herbago is going to walk off with this win because he is already more than a second ahead of Schumacher, laying on the power as they come down the stripe. Herbago, fastest lap, 1:20.080. He is already almost 2 seconds ahead of Schumacher. He has almost no ERS. He's already down to only a quarter of ERS, but he is running away from his title rival. Meerkat is now pitting. Is something happening to Meerkat? Yes, Meerkat has wing damage. Meerkat has wing damage. He now falls down to 8th position, but the field is so spread out in the back of the grid that 8th is going to be the worst it is. They throw on the hard tires, and Meerkat will run these hards to the end of this race without issue. The fight for 5th, 6th, and 7th is still alive. Dave, Eggity, Higgs, Boston, all on top of each other. Dave is in the best situation of them all with cleaner air and fresher tires. But Eggity is showing to be a little bit more adept in the twisties, and Boston is on better tires. But how long will that advantage last for Higgs Boston? Again, we look at the front. Schumacher is at 65% ERS. Herbago is at 30. So Herbago now finally starting to pull back on the ERS. He knows he can start conserving because he is faster than Schumacher, and he can just maintain this gap to the Ferrari to the end of this race. He lays on the ERS again, but only for a briefest of moments. He's at 25% as he goes down the main straight. 24, it will be at 23% at the end. Higgs Boston is going to overtake Eggity. They're coming up to the final quarter. Eggity trying to do a crossover on corner exit, and Dave has crashed out. Dave has crashed out, and that is another full course yellow. 3 full course yellows, and we're not even through the first half of this race. We barely made it past the first third. And Meerkat's pitting again. And now Flavor has a drive-through penalty for speed under the safety car, so his race is over. And Flavor, at a track that historically goes very good for him, it's now all falling apart. I hate this track. So Meerkat, they now put on medium tires. I don't know what in the devil they're doing for Meerkat's strategy right now. Zola now goes up into 10th. 9th, actually. So Herbago seems to be the only man who's done everything right thus far. He is your leader, and he is coming into the pit lane, as is Schumacher. Is Plastic Love going to come in as well? Is he going to stay out to inherit the lead? No, Plastic Love will come in as well. What about Flavor? Flavor also coming in, so likely everyone here is going to throw on the hard tires now to the end of this race. Higgs Boston coming in. Eggity will stay out because he started on the hards, and this will give him some significant position on track. He will actually move up to, I believe, the 3rd position. 2nd position, actually. So this will just further Herbago's advantage because Herbago will be on fresher tires and he'll be able to walk away quite a bit. So this is pretty much given the race to Herbago as we anticipated would happen after he got pole in qualifying. Again, you can't normally overtake here. And Schumacher has not had the pace to do anything to Herbago either. So Eggity, he's now being 2nd, and while he will have to pit again before this race is over to get onto medium tires, and he will drop down the order, it will back up the Ferrari significantly. top 4 already gathered up. But of note, Flavor has a drive-through penalty he will need to serve, and will likely serve as they come to the green flag. Higgs Boston has 6 seconds of time penalties. Dragon also has 5 seconds of time penalties as well. He has not pitted this lap, so he has not yet served his time penalty. He is likely going to try and make these hards last to the end of the race. But he is now behind everyone else who is ahead of him. Boston, Flavor, although he will get back by Flavor, Plastic Glove, Schumacher, and Herbago. So that strategy for Imperium and Dragon has not worked out well. Zola in 9th. He is on medium tires, and either he's going to have to pit again late in the event, or he's going to have to massively conserve those mediums. But for Zola, this will likely kill his shot at the Drivers' Championship here, because I see no way that he's going to be able to make his way back up through the grid. All right, top 7 have already gathered up. We're not likely to go green until lap 16. We're still not yet to the halfway point in this race. We have had more laps under the safety car than we have had under green flag racing. As Dragon finally catches the rear of the field, and so does Zola. Meerkat finally catches the rear as well. So this will put Meerkat back ahead of Flavor on track, and will likely lead to a further extension in the Manufacturers' Championship for the McLarens. I do want to give a shout out to Plastic Love. He is in contention for podium position overall this race. He has been the only person able to match the McLaren's and Schumacher's pace thus far this season. There's the word safety car officially coming in this lap, so we'll be going green lap 16. Herbago backs up the field, but now how will Eggity respond? Eggity is on more worn tires, and he's not shown a lot of pace today. Will Eggity be able to keep pace with Herbago, or will he have to worry about the Ferrari trying to outdrag him going into turn 1? Flavor coming to serve his drive-throughs. This will drop him back to 10th, last of everyone on the grid. As they come to the line, Herbago waits a bit, and Eggity crashes into Schumacher! And Eggity crashes into Schumacher on the restart! Eggity crashes into Schumacher! He swerved into the Ferrari! Eggity swerved into the Ferrari, and this will end Schumacher's race and possibly his chance at the championship. He now has significant damage, has fallen all the way back. Higgs Boston has damage. Dragon has spun out as well. Meerkat's up to 4th, and Herbago will win by default. Because Plastic Glove has already fallen 2 seconds out of the lead. And if I've never seen an intentional accident before, well, I only see them at Hungary. This is the second time I've seen intentional crashing as the AlphaTauri swerved into the Ferrari. And now McLaren is running 1-3 Imperium spins. And we'll drop back to 6. Schumacher will have to repair significant front wing damage. Zola now in 4th. Higgs Boston gets by Imperium, and there was no yellow flag for that accident. So Herbago now walks away with no issue for the rest of this race. And while Schumacher is running 5th now, he will have to pit, and this will drop him to last place. Zola pitting as well, so both 1st and 3rd in the championship fight taking damage. Higgs Boston pitting as well. So Boston will stay behind Schumacher. Imperium will actually end up moving well up the grid. And Dragon, who said earlier he had no chance of being in the points, he is now running 4th overall despite crashing multiple times today. And Flavor has pitted as well. They have apparently fitted on medium tires. I don't know what's going on there. Schumacher now on mediums that will last him to the end of this race, but he is now half a lap down to Herbago. Plastic Love runs in second, but he is nearly out of ERS while Herbago has plenty of it. So Love is likely going to fall to 3rd because Meerkat is on medium tires and is faster than him. So it will be another McLaren 1-2, but this will definitely go down in the history books controversially. And DRS has now been enabled, but no one's close enough to really do anything. Everything now comes down to how strategy plays out. In Schumacher's favor, he now has an advantage when it comes to tire life because he has the fastest tires on track. He has clean air. The problem, though, is that everyone ahead of him is on tires that they will make last to the end of this race. Agady has now crashed out, so we're going to talk to him real quickly and hear what he has to say. As Love is falling off of Herbago and Meerkat is closing with rapidity. All right, and 1 second. Agady, can you hear me? All right, let me ensure that the options let you... Did you have the option to include audio? All right. All right, very controversial. What happened on that restart?
I screwed up. I spun the tires and got a little sideways. I don't know who was behind me, but I apologize to them.
Yeah, that was first and third in the championship who was behind you.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a good restart there, and I spun the tires and went sideways. Yeah, my fault, really. Sorry. I don't know what else to say.
All right, so now the question is there anything you think that you guys can do to recover next week?
Yeah, absolutely. I just got to be a little smarter and take care of the car. Try not to be too aggressive, I guess.
All right, well, it was a interesting run. I won't say it was a great one, but it was an interesting run. Shame to see it go out in that way, as Imperium has now fallen down to 7th behind Zola. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us, mate.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
All right, so Imperium has a spin out of turn 1. No damage to the car, but this will drop him to dead last now. As we circle the track, Meerkat now running right behind Plastic Love, trying to do something against the McLarens as a defense. But Meerkat is on mediums, and there's nothing that Plastic Love can do on hards. He has DRS, but he's already by him before they even get to the DRS zone, so he will open up the gap, and will be an easy McLaren 1-2 today to the end of this race. And this will likely be the turning page in the championship. The McLarens absolutely have the upper hand now. Dragon runs in 4th position on hard tires that will last to the end of this race. He is 17 seconds ahead of Schumacher, although Schumacher does not have any time penalties, while Dragon does have time penalties, so we will keep an eye on that going forward. And Schumacher has actually just set the fastest lap of the day. Not surprising, he'll likely be able... He is one of the drivers, I think, who is in contention to lock up fastest lap point overall. Flavor in 7th is on extremely worn mediums, and he will have to pit one more time. And when he does so, he will likely try to serve... No, he can't serve that penalty. That's a 3-second time penalty. Never mind. When he pits, he'll likely fall behind Higgs, Boston, and Imperium. It will be a dead last finish of the running cars for Flavor. So a track that's historically very good for Flavor means nothing when it's just been a cavalcade of errors around him and including him. But for Zola, frustration. Started 10th after crashing in Q3 and not able to get a proper flyer lap in. He did eventually set a respectable time, was moved all the way up into 4th, but was caught up in that accident when Eggety swerved into Schumacher on the restart, and there was nowhere for Zola to go. Schumacher has set another fastest lap now, 19.7. But from the leader, Schumacher is more than a full pit stop behind them right now. He is closing on Dragon, though, with pace. About 12 seconds out from the Alpine in 4th. Now down to 10 seconds out behind Dragon. Yellow flag, sector 2. And that is Imperium struggling, and he'll likely go a lap down in the upcoming few. And Dragon has now had a spin out of turn 1. Starting to get back underway, but this will give 4th place to Schumacher without issue. Now he needs to try and run down Plastic Love, but the gap between them is 26.5 seconds, and Love is on tires that are not going to fall off to the end of this race. No yellow flags now, conveniently. So we're likely going to stay in the order that everyone is in to the end of this race, with the exception of 7th place. Flavor still likely to pit to get onto better tires before we get to the end of this race, and that will drop him back to 9th. Other than that, everyone likely going to finish where they are. Zola now behind Dragon on track. He's actually going to be within DRS range on him, so Zola actually probably will be able to get by Dragon. I did not think that was going to happen, but that does look like it's in the cards. Zola just out of DRS range coming onto the backstretch that time. Dragon maintain a 1.3 second gap over Zola right now. This is the only real active fight on the track at the moment. Meerkat, who is in second, is now starting to feel a bit of fall off on his tires. He is not closing on Herbago by very much, and even if he does, Meerkat made it very clear at Austria that he has no interest in properly fighting against his teammate, and he will always fall in line behind him to help Herbago in the championship fight. This time Zola is within DRS range on the straight, but was not within DRS range when he got to the detection zone. So Dragon struggling significantly with his tires through the corners, it would appear. And the DRS on the second DRS zone there, that goes off the same detection point as the first. Oh, and there goes Dragon around right in front of Zola. Another spin by the Alpine. Oh, and he destroys his wing in the process trying to get the car turned around. And that is a full course yellow. And now the entire race gets blown open as there is a full course yellow. And this happens at a point when the top three were unable to pit in reaction. And this also saves Imperium and keeps him on the lead lap. Schumacher is going to pit, so the race may still be open for the top three positions. Herbago is still likely to walk off with this, but this has upended the race significantly. Herbago leads, Meerkat second, Plastic Glove third. None of them were able to react to the incident. So our fourth yellow flag of the day. Flavor still staying out on those tires. I don't know what the strategy is going on there. Well, he needs to stay on the lead lap, actually. That would explain it. Never mind. That explains everything. And Dragon is serving his time penalty in the pits now. The question is going to be, do the leaders pit? Yes, Herbago is pitting. And everyone will likely throw on soft tires, of which everyone has enough of, so it will be a soft tire run to the end. Herbago, Meerkat, and Love are all far enough ahead of Schumacher that he's not going to be able to overtake any of them when they make their stop. Massive gap between the McLaren, so they don't have to worry about double stacking either. Zola, who is in fifth, is on mediums. And he is running right behind Schumacher overall and ahead of Flavor. So Zola may go ahead and stay on the mediums. He knows that the mediums aren't going to fall off. The softs will be a little bit dead by the end, so Zola might stick with the mediums to the end of this race. But this is going to be a long yellow flag. I don't think we're going to see the green until about lap 27. But McLaren still holds 1-2. And Meerkat not willing to overtake Herbago. I think this is still going to be a McLaren 1-2 finish. The question is going to be, can Plastic Love keep Schumacher behind him on this restart? Now Flavor comes into the pits, and he will go ahead and get off those medium tires because he is far enough ahead to know that he will not have to worry about going a lap down while swapping rubber. And actually, he's going to just barely maintain 7th over Imperium and Dragon. Imperium is on hards, and I'm guessing he wants to stick on the hards to the end. Flavor will actually lose 7th to him, so I was wrong there. Higgs Boston, who is in 6th, has 19 lap worn medium tires and has not pitted to get onto softs. He is far enough ahead. Well, no, he's actually not far enough ahead. If he was to pit, he would end up behind Imperium, I think. So Boston going to have to try and play defense on these very worn tires. So the fight for from 6th to 9th could end up being very interesting here. 4th place still has not caught the rear of the grid. And this is a long yellow flag because of how spread out the field was. Again, Imperium was on the verge of going a lap down when the yellow came out. And here's the other problem. Schumacher's tires are going to have a lot of extra wear on them now because he's basically used an entire lap and some change under the yellow flag to try and rush up to the leaders. So that advantage of being able to pit kind of gone nowhere. He's actually now at a very slight disadvantage to the top 3 ahead of him. All right, so the field not yet all gathered up, but we're not gotten a green flag notification yet, so we're not going to go green. No, there we are, safety car in this lap. That was a very late decision, but safety car will come in this lap. Okay, so Herbago leads the field to the restart. The question is really going to be, how does Mantic Meerkat bunch everyone out? Because Plastic Love is right behind. How hungry is Plastic Love to go for a potential second place finish? Oh, green flag is out, and Love could not react at all. Schumacher runs right behind the Williams, but not willing or able to do anything going down the straight this time. No changes in the field. The fight's going to be for 4th, and then everywhere farther back. Dragon gets by Flavor on the initial restart. Those two have a bit of a rivalry that goes back a ways. Zola going to pull away from Higgs Boston. Boston needs to do whatever he can to keep. Then behind him, Flavor now gets back by Imperium as Imperium goes off. So Imperium on those hard tires has no pace compared to the drivers around him. Dragon now sets his sights on Boston because Boston is on very worn tires and Dragon is on relatively fresh softs. So that will be the fight to watch for 6th. The other question, what of DRS of the leaders? Herbago 78%, Meerkat 73%, Love 40%, Schumacher 78%. So Schumacher has an ERS advantage at the moment against Plastic Love. If he wants to overtake the Williams, he'll need to utilize both ERS and DRS in tandem. Meerkat just set the fastest lap of the race there. Love burning through, he is at 11% ERS at the end of the straight. Schumacher is at 57. Love, horrible run coming out 1. Here comes Schumacher, lay on the ERS again. 48%, he backs out of it. And Love is going to hold the inside, squeeze the Ferrari, but he is at only 11% ERS right now, and they are losing touch with the McLarens who are running 1-2. Flavor gets by Dragon as Dragon has had a spin, and Flavor goes back up into 6th now. Yellow flag in Sector 1, but no full course yellow. Love, 10%, 9% ERS. Going into the chicane, he'll regain a bit of it here, but he's extremely slow. The Ferrari is absolutely hounding him. Love fighting for a podium position. Schumacher fighting for his championship. Another accident. Dragon crashes out in Sector 2. Is that going to be a full course yellow? Yes! Another full course yellow. And that is exactly what Plastic Love needed. Another full course yellow, and that might be enough because when we go green, there may be no DRS. Schumacher might not be able to get by the Williams. And we have had 5 yellow flags. I godforsaken hate this bloody circuit so much. Flavor pitting because he needs to repair damage. All right, and coming into the party now is XRL Dragon. Dragon, go ahead, include your audio. Well, not quite the 10% mark of the 90% mark of the race, but you were up there as high as 4th at one point. What do you have to say about your run?
Much, to be honest. I'm kind of shocked that I got up as high as I did. Equally shocked by the number of very distinct spins and crashes that I had. I replaced three different wings. Um, Standards in this race by a lot of people, I'm not going to name names, leave something to be desired. And like Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Well, will you come back next week or anytime soon for
Uh,
another
my
race?
my work schedule is going to be pretty prohibitive of that for the next few weeks, but we'll see what's in store.
All right. Well, either way, we do appreciate you jumping in and being willing to talk with us here. Shame to see this race has gone the way it has, mate.
Indeed, indeed. There's always the next race, and I'll just look forward to that.
All right. Thank you very much. So as we turn our focus back to the track, only 8 cars left. It's going to be a McLaren 1-2 after a lot of shenanigans has meant that the fastest drivers who have not been involved in an accident easily has held the top spots without problem. This yellow flag will help everyone who is on soft tires make it to the end. Zola now actually has a very slight disadvantage, but the driver who is in 6th, Higgs Boston, is on excessively worn medium tires. Flavor, who is in 7th, and Imperium, who is in 8th, they both will try and overtake Boston on this restart, and I think they can probably do it very easily with the massive difference in tire life. I imagine that Boston will probably fall to last place here just because of how bad those tires are. The more important thing, though, is that when we go green on lap 32, it'll be a 4-lap shootout. DRS will only be enabled on 1 lap, the very last lap of this race. In the end, again, I think this is going to be an easy McLaren 1-2. Classic Love in 3rd. Going to probably pull off a 3rd if he can just keep Schumacher behind him and keep him from outrunning him down the main straight, because you can't pass in anywhere after turn 2. There's only 2 overtaking zones here, and they're on relatively even tires, so Love is in for a potential career-defining drive. Championship-wise, this race has absolutely swerved the deck in favor of Herbago, probably permanently. The McLarens have found some significant advantages in setup that lets them be faster than everyone else. And now with the kind of chaos and kamikaze we're seeing here, just coming home 2nd will not be enough for Schumacher to maintain his lead to the end of this season. Safety car coming in this lap. Herbago again leads, but he's not going to be an issue. It's all going to come down to how much does Meerkat back up Plastic Love, and how aggressively is Plastic Love going to fight forward or defend backward. Love completely messed up on the prior restart. This will be his best chance. Coming around the final corner. Again, Love, horrible restart. Here comes Schumacher with the run. He's already on the ERS down the straight. So is Plastic Love. They're both laying on the ERS. They're side by side up front. And Schumacher backs out of the battle early. Love lunges on Plastic Love for 2nd. Side by side for 2nd position between a Williams and a McLaren. Here's Schumacher, and Meerkat swerves into him and runs him off the circuit. Schumacher barely keeps the car alive. And now the fight's again for 2nd. Love, Meerkat going for it. Love going for a career-defining drive. Meerkat trying to fight back. I think Love is going to be easily driver of the day if he can keep the car alive in 2nd. Now he sets his sights on Herbago at the front as Schumacher now has to go up against the McLaren. Love is on a career-defining drive. He doesn't care about championship. This could be one of his best drives in his career. Meerkat is trying to fight back as they go out of turn 2 and down to sector 3. Meerkat, 43%. He's into the grass. He runs wide, completely missing his chance at the Williams. Schumacher looks to the outside, can't make the move to get back by the McLaren. You just can't make overtakes here outside of starts and restarts unless it's in the hairpin or turn 2. Love, very, very bad run out of the final corner. Meerkat had a bad run as well. Meerkat, 38, 37, 34, 33. He's burning through the ERS. So was Plastic Love. They're all burning through the ERS in the 2nd and 3rd position. They're both at only 22% at the end of the straightaway. Again, there's only got to be 1 lap of DRS available. Meerkat might be able to get by then. Higgs Boston finally loses his position to Flavor as he goes up into 6th. Plastic Love very slow on the track. Herbago is scooting away right now. Meerkat 11% ERS at the moment. Imperium another instant farther back. No factor there. Love is building the ERS back up. He's already back up to 32%. Meerkat is at 11. Meerkat is going to lose out on a chance to bring home a McLaren 1-2 finish, although they will massively extend their lead in the Manufacturers Championship after today's performance. But I think he wants to get back by Plastic Love because he knows he's faster than that Williams, but he just can't do it. Meerkat's at 14% ERS as he follows the Williams out of Sector 2. ERS always gets used a small amount in the straightaways. It's just the way the battery works. 16% now. Love is at 32%, so Love has more ERS than Meerkat at the moment, but Meerkat's been faster coming onto the straights. Meerkat's been faster coming through the corners. This is going to be extremely close here. Through the final corner again, Love actually had a good exit. Herbago fastest lap, and Love is gone. Meerkat's on the ERS, 5%, 4%, 3%, 2%, 3% ERS. He lays out of it. He'll be at 3% at the end of the straightaway. All right, 2 laps to go. There's only going to be 1 lap with ERS. Meerkat lays on the ERS again in the next DRS zone, even though there's no DRS yet. He's still at 3%. Love is at 21% ERS at the moment. And Schumacher is still there in 4th. Would love to get by one of the McLarens at least. Oh, Meerkat, big twitch! And he's going to lose a bunch of time to Plastic Love. He's pushing so hard, and I think he's feeling the pressure. Schumacher has more ERS than both of the drivers ahead. Now Love makes another big mistake. It backs him up to Meerkat again. Meerkat 11% ERS. Love 21. So Love has about twice as much ERS than Meerkat. Schumacher has more than both of them combined. But that's not going to matter because they're only going to have one shot at DRS. Love is going to be swarmed by McLaren and a Ferrari. Here comes Schumacher to the inside. Schumacher is going to run the McLaren wide. The McLaren is going to try and fight back. He can't do it. He makes a twitch, and now Schumacher is going to put down the power. 46% ERS. Love is at 13%. DRS is in favor of the Ferrari as they come steaming down the front straightaway. Not quite a fifth of a second, and Zula now gets by Meerkat. And Schumacher now comes to the inside of the Williams. Dead heat, and it's gonna be Schumacher recovering from a driver swerving into him. He might pull out here with a second. I cannot believe it, and Meerkat is gonna lose a position to Zola potentially. No, he barely pulls back ahead of Zola at the last minute. Zola can't fight back as hard as he was because of how worn his tires are, so Meerkat will bring it home 4th. Schumacher, after being swerved into, is going to pull off a second position by the looks of it. Plastic Love, who is behind him, is losing touch once again. Schumacher is going to play an incredible goal in keeping his title hopes alive. He's going to come home second. Plastic Love, though, with that incredible drive on Meerkat, and he's going to pull off a 3rd place finish by the looks of it. He just needs to not make a mistake in these final corners. I despise this track, but that was some incredible racing on cars that you can't overtake with here. And coming to the line, Herbago leads from the pole and will win here. Schumacher will minimize damage and come home second in the Ferrari. Plastic Glove, a tremendous career-defining drive in 3rd. Meerkat will come home 4th in the end after choking away a 2nd place finish. Zola will be 5th. Flavor will come home 6th. That race. I despise this track, but that was incredible. No, Zola is not the driver of the day. You take that back. That's either Plastic Love or Schumacher. I don't know who gets driver of the day between the two of them because those two put on an amazing drive. We are not going to be able to talk with Herbago because Herbago has no available working mic, sadly. Oh, my voice is just about toast. My voice is so close to being toast right now, it's not funny. Oh, my gosh. McLaren, Ferrari, Williams on the top step. It feels like it's 1997 or 1998 again. or feels like 2003 again. Also, I guess. Oh, wow, that was a event to say the least. All right, gonna hopefully be able to talk to Plastic Love here because that was just so bloody incredible what he was able to pull off. Coming in the party right now, though, is Schumacher SF7, who brings the car home into second position. Schumacher, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
All right, go ahead, include your audio. Never had the pace to fight Herbago,
Well,
it seems.
I did.
However,
I did. So,
well, irregardless, restarting third behind a driver on alternate strategy who then swerved into you, and then you
Yeah.
fell all the way back to the back of the grid and raced your way back up, including 2 overtakes in a straight and a corner. What in the world do you have to say about that run, mate?
I'm not going to mention the incident because I've been advised not to. But after that, I was pissed off and got my head down and said, I'm going to send it. And if people don't get out of my way, people don't get out of my way. So, yeah. So,
Well,
yeah, that's...
I mean, how... I'm honestly in shock that you were able to do that. It looked like you were not only going to lose out on a podium, it looked like your title points lead was going to nearly halve,
Yeah.
and you still came out of it with second in the end. And I don't know for certain, but I think you had fastest lap. If you didn't have fastest lap, it was definitely in running for it.
Didn't have, yeah, Tobago got that, yeah.
Okay.
It's surprising what anger and annoyed, when you're annoyed, does. It makes you just concentrate and push even that harder. So that's what happened. I was annoyed and angry. So yeah. But my teammate unluckily got a drive through. So couldn't do much there. And then a great race with Plastic here. Unfortunately I just had to send it on him. I'm sure he knew that was going to come.
Yeah.
So and I'm pretty sure he knew just not to fight an angry Schumacher.
All right, so what do you think you can pull off next week then?
Carnage. Because it's going to rain.
Right. Oh, you seem really confident in saying that it's going to rain next week.
Yeah. So, yeah. Congratulations to Plastic. He drove fantastic race. I would have probably been ahead of him if I didn't get an incident on the restart. That was a bit suspicious, but never mind. We'll go again next week.
All right. Well, great job once again, Schumacher, on the podium. And now I want to talk with Plastic Love. Plastic, I'm going to go ahead and say, I thought your drive at Montreal was incredible. That's nothing compared to what you pulled off here. You were the only person who had any pace compared to the McLarens and then the Ferrari of Schumacher. You pulled out a podium, but on that final restart, you gotta walk me through those last 2 restarts, because that second to last restart, you kind of lost the chance at doing anything. But on that final restart, you sent it. You were defending against Schumacher, and then all of a sudden you sent it on Mirka. How in the world did you do that, and how did you keep him behind him for the rest of the race?
Those restarts, I'm even surprised I was up there. I mean, those McLarens, they were fast. I knew I couldn't fight them. Same for Schumacher. It was more of just praying that I can defend it. And then came the final restart. I had an opportunity and I took it, you know.
Yeah. Man, I'm dead ass. I cannot believe what I saw. Like, honestly, like I said so many times, and I'm gonna say again, career-defining drive. I don't know. For driver of the day, it's between either you or Schumacher. You could easily swing it either way. Probably gonna end up being you, because I can imagine there's probably gonna be some kind of penalty that ends up getting levied against him later. I don't think there's anything you did wrong all day, but incredible. So now the question is, all right, so you got an amazing drive at Montreal, an amazing drive here at Hungary. What can we expect from you next week, potentially?
I mean, I'm hoping top 5s. That's been my goal this whole season. I think I can keep up. Not with the McLarens, but, you know, I think top 5 is my goal here.
All right. Well, either way, mate, outstanding bloody drive, punching massively above your weight. For a brief moment, I thought it was 2003 all over again.
Did you see the was it the start? Dude, the start, I think I started like
Dude,
12th. I went up to
Yeah,
like
the dude, you
6th.
went
I
from
was
11th to 6th, and then ended up moving all the way up into 4th by the time the
Yeah.
yellow flag came out. I don't know how in the world you did that, but still. All right, anyways, thank you very much for jumping in and talking with us, mate. Fantastic job. I have let this broadcast go on way longer than I need to. I'm actually going to be late for things I need to attend outside of that. But I do want to say thank you for sticking around. As much as I bloody despise Hungary, I'm glad I did stick around to the end because that was a fantastic final few restarts. Next week, X3 will be back. If you want to see more races at Hungary, I don't know why. This is one of the worst tracks on the schedule. Only Jeddah and Miami are worse. But if you want to see more from Hungary, in about 30 minutes on the same channel will be the X2 race. Until next time, I've been your host, Insane Leader 13. Thank you very much, and goodbye.